I'm Gabby.
Hi, I'm Martika.
How are you today?
Good.
So, like I said, my name is Gabby, and I am a social worker here at Lewis University. And I just wanted to start off by asking, have you ever sought professional help before?
No, I mean, I seeked professional help when my parents got a divorce, but nothing to this.
Never in like a personal
Yeah,
one-to-one setting?
none of this where I came on my own free will.
Yeah, okay. So, to begin, I just wanted to let you know that everything said in today's session is just between you and me. Everything remains confidential. I will not share this with anyone. I did want to ask, though, would it be okay if I took some notes? I ask because it'll help me better understand what's going on. That way I can remember if I need to clarify anything. It's just a better way for
that's
me.
fine.
Yeah? Okay, awesome. So another thing I wanted to let you know is I am a mandated reporter, and if you're unfamiliar with what that is, I do have to report anything you say if it's harmful to you or anyone else. So just keep that in mind. Not to shy you away from sharing any information. I want this to be as comfortable as possible. I want you to feel like you can talk to me, but I just do need to let you know what's going on. Okay, so what's going on?
Well, basically, I'm just feeling a little stressed out. Graduation is approaching for me, and I've been struggling like with my relationship because the fact is that my boyfriend is like in that rut of not knowing what to do in his life, like what to do at school and what to do after school. And for me, I'm like graduating, so I kind of like feel bad when I'm like, I got the plan, I know what to do it, I'm going to my master's, and so like it's been causing like a lot of fights because he says that like I'm not thinking of his needs when in my head I think I shouldn't have to because like my education's being like I took the time to plan my education.
Right.
It's not my fault that he did it. It's because for me it's like before we even met, you were in charge of your own education.
Right.
No one
your own
else's.
life.
Yeah, and I was like, so why is it that when we're dating, because I'm graduating, it becomes my responsibility.
Okay, so now can I clarify a few things?
Mm-hmm.
So is he in school?
Yes.
Okay, and he is younger?
Yeah, he's well, he just switched his major, so it's gonna take him 2 more years to graduate than what
it was
Yeah.
projected? Okay. So I definitely understand how you're feeling in the sense that, well, first, I'm sure you have many anxieties about the fact that you're graduating college.
Yes.
And then continuing masters, so
Yes.
even more higher education.
Right.
And I understand also now you have another like environment in your life that's adding stress onto the fact, like you're trying to encourage yourself, you're graduating college, you're moving on, and he's kind of not
stuck.
Yeah.
And I feel guilty because like I'm like here like okay I'm gonna do this for graduation, and like after graduation in my head it's like okay I'm gonna find my own place, I'm gonna go to this and
right, independence.
Yeah, and he's like, oh well we're gonna do that together, and I'm like, yeah, once you graduate, because like
Right.
I feel like school should be number one priority,
Right.
than trying to save up for rent when you can't have that, not saying you can't have it, but when you don't, when school versus saving up for rent, if you can go to school first before you have to save up for rent, I would think that's should be number one.
Right, and I agree. So if we focus on just you for right now and not on your boyfriend, I know he is one of your major, not problems, but issues that you came here today. So let's talk about you and how you feel about it. So you're excited to graduate, and do you feel like he's holding you back in any way, or do you feel like, I know you said you feel guilty, but do you feel like he's holding you back, or?
I mean, I think a little bit, just because like I'm just like, oh, what do I do? Like I feel kind of like, I know like he's supportive. I know that for a fact. Like that's without a doubt. But I feel like he doesn't say it, but I can look on his face whenever like graduation thing comes up, or like, oh hey, you gonna come to my graduation party, or stuff like that. And he's just like, well, yeah, I'm still in school. Like he'll make comments, and it's just like why do you have to do that?
Right. So I definitely see many strengths in you, though. I mean, you're determined to finish school. You're determined to go back for your master's.
Right.
And being that you're here, you obviously want to make your relationship work with him.
Right.
So I think there's obviously many steps you guys are going to have to take to fix that. But as long as you are happy with where you're at, I think that's kind of the starting factor to make sure, with or without him, honestly, like, you're happy with where you're at, because you said school is your number one priority.
Right.
So you want to do school first before you continue on like getting a house with him. And I mean, you want,
Excuse me.
oh no, sorry, you're fine. So you said you want school to be done first for both of you before you were to
Ever taken an additional step?
right. And I think that's something. I mean, how often do you guys communicate about the major problem at hand? I think he might be feeling a little, I wouldn't want to say jealous, but maybe kind of like that she's doing better than me or I'm falling behind. Do you guys ever communicate about issues like that?
I mean, we used to when we first met, but then at the same time, like I think when we first met, we were kind of in that school was almost ending, so like we weren't like really on like that whole topic of like where are you school wise, you know? Like he was aware that I was on track for graduation, and I was aware that he was switching his major because unfortunately the major he wanted was not working out. It was too much. So we were aware of that, but then I guess like after a while, like the conversations of talking about school seemed to die down. And we would talk about school only when it was like stressing us both out, but it wouldn't, like there was certain levels that we wouldn't reach, like, oh yeah, you know, school's so much. Like we would never talk about the financial part of school or like graduation, but we'd be like, oh my god, this teacher is like giving me so much work. That's the topics we would talk about.
So kind of staying at the surface of it?
Yeah,
okay.
And would never go into like deep. And I know some people are gonna be like, well, how do you have a relationship where you don't go past a certain level? But for me, like, I guess I never really thought about it, because when it comes to it, like, I'm the only one who can get through school. You're the only one that can push yourself through school. So it's like, in a selfish way, not really. I've heard people tell me I was selfish, but in a selfish way, it's like, okay, like, only you can really worry. I can worry about you finishing school, but I'm not in a place to make you financially stable for school, or push you through school. So it's like, I guess I never felt like, okay, we need to address those topics underneath, because I was like, okay, well, one way or another, we're finishing school, so.
Okay, so let's unpack some of what you just said. So, you guys don't go into deeper problems. Does that bother you, or do you?
I mean, we go into deeper problems, like, of course, like, our relationship, like, if we have an issue or if I have a problem with something, we go into it.
Right.
But
school, like, academically, you said that you guys
really,
kind
no.
of, is that a personal preference of you both, or does he attend Lewis?
Yes.
Okay. And then how long have you guys been dating?
10 months.
Okay, I was just curious. Okay. So.
No, I mean, I guess I just never got around to it. We're very active in, like, school activities and extracurriculum and stuff, but he never brought it up, so I kind of never brought it up. It was kind of like one of those things that's just like, you know, when people are like, oh, out of sight, out of mind type of thing.
Yeah. So
we never would bring it up, because it was just like, to us, there was other things to talk about.
Yeah. So I definitely think that it might hinder your relationship in a sense. Because if you're on the path to graduate and he's still kind of stuck in the mindset that I'm not going to get as far as her, he might have other factors hindering him finishing college, might soon to affect you. And overall, this is your age to be selfish. You are allowed to be independent. You're allowed to want things for yourself. And I remember my college years, it can be very hard to balance your school and your boyfriend and trying to graduate on time. I can totally remember how that is. So I definitely think that this is your time to be selfish. You're allowed to be happy for yourself. You're allowed to want to think like, I'm awesome, I'm graduating.
Right.
So definitely keep that in mind when you think about your boyfriend's situation, and know that his situation is separate from your own.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I definitely think that's a key thing in this. You don't want to cross those paths too much to the fact that then you're behind in school now because he might be holding you back.
Right.
Because if you're on track for graduating, this might be a great step for your relationship, or it might set you guys back.
Right.
So I guess that is something, of course, you guys will have to communicate and find out, but I think that's one of your main issues, is you knowing for yourself that you got yourself here, you're doing it, you're on your way to graduation, like whether or not what systems in your outside life are affecting that or not.
Right.
So I think after talking to you today, you're a very independent person. I'm proud of you for going to graduation. You're almost there. You're almost done. So I think within our next session, if you plan to come back, maybe try within then to not communicating with your boyfriend about the problems and how he feels about your full graduation and your next steps.
Great. Well, thank you.
Thank you
your
for
time.
coming. Yeah, thank you.